So we have been looking at point slope form. This is a third form that we have looked at for writing and graphing linear equations. So what I want you to tell me first, there are two things that we need in order to work with point slope form. So tell me the two things that we need for point slope form. Hopefully, you knew that for point slope form, we need a point on the line, and we call that point x sub 1, y sub 1. And we also need the slope of the line, and we use m for the slope. Okay, so now I want you to tell me what is point slope form using this point, x sub 1, y sub 1, and this slope, m. What is point slope form? So remember, point slope form comes from the slope formula. The slope formula is the change in y over the change in x. So y minus y1 over x minus x1. We just do some algebraic multiplication and we make it look like this. So it's subtraction because it comes from the slope formula. The slope formula has to do with the change in y and the change in x, and that's subtraction. I've had another question about the subscripts. Why do we use these ones here? Okay, we use subscripts in math to tell things apart. So this way I can still use a y. These both have to do with y coordinates, but so that I can tell this one is different from that one, I call it y sub 1, and this is just plain old y. Over here, these are both x coordinates, but so I can tell them apart, I put a little subscript with 1 to tell that x sub 1 is different from x. So x and y, if I put x and y together, that represents any point on that line, any point on that line. But x sub 1, y sub 1 represents a very specific point on that line. Today we're going to write linear equations in point slope form from two different ways. We're going to write it from a graph and we're going to write it from 2 points. We have done both of these before in slope intercept form. Everyone right now should be able to look at this line and give me the equation of this line in slope intercept form. Today we're going to do it from point slope form. So we have 2 points and we know we need the slope, and we know we need the coordinates of 1 point on that line. Okay, so they tell us we've got 2 points that are shown to us, right? And they tell us to use the right hand point. So my right hand point is this right here, and it has coordinates 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So its coordinates are 4, 3. That's my x sub 1, y sub 1. And my slope, I could draw a slope triangle here. And I get what? It's a negative 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1/4. Okay, so I'm going to plug that into point slope form. Y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1. And now I'm going to substitute in. So y minus 3 equals negative 1/4 times x minus 4. Remember, as always, whatever the coordinates are here, because of the subtraction, they look like they're different signs when we put them into the formula. Okay, so here is another line. This one would be hard to do in slope-intercept form because we don't see exactly where it crosses the y-axis, right? So this one would be a little harder. So first off, you know we need a point and you know we need the slope. So look at this line and I want you to tell me what the slope of this line is. All right, if you looked at your slope triangle, you should have gotten 3 over 1. It has positive slope and we want to simplify 3 over 1 to 3. Okay, we're going to use the right hand point. So that's the point over here. I want you to write in the coordinates of the point we're going to use. So the coordinates of the right hand point are 3, 1. So that's going to be my x sub 1, y sub 1. Point slope form says that y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x sub 1. Okay, so I want you to plug in what we've got and tell me what the equation of this line is in point slope form. Did you get y minus 1 equals 3 times the quantity x minus 3? Okay, we're ready to do the last one over here. So I have a line. This one, notice the y-intercept is between two integers, right? So I don't know exactly what that y-intercept is. So writing this one in slope-intercept form would also be a little difficult. So the first thing I want you to do is you tell me what the slope of this line is. Did you get positive 1/2? If you use the slope triangle that they give you, it was 3/6, right? So that would simplify to 1/2. You could also use 2 points closer together and get 1/2. All right, using the right-hand point, tell me the coordinates of the point we're going to use. Okay, the coordinates of the right-hand point are 1, -1. Now I want you to write the equation of this line using this slope and this point in point slope form. And the equation of this line using the right-hand point is y plus 1 equals 1/2 times x minus 1. Since the y1 coordinate is -1, y minus a -1 becomes y plus 1. So that's how you write an equation in point slope form using a graph. The next way we're going to write an equation in point slope form is just given the 2 points. So we don't have the graph to look at anymore. We've got 2 points, but what are we missing? We're missing the slope. And for point slope form, we need 1 point and the slope. So they tell us to use the first point, but we need the slope first. So the first thing you're going to do is find the slope. So you're going to do your mini table, or you're going to use the slope formula if if you like the slope formula. So 4, 7 is my first point, 7, 1 is my second point, 7 to 1 is -6, 4 to 5 is +1. So my slope is -6/1, which is -6. Okay, so my slope is -6, and they want me to use the first point to write the equation. So I'm going to say y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1. I'm going to label that first point x1, y1. I get y minus 7 equals -6 times x minus x sub 1 is 4. Okay, so this one just has a little more work because we have to find the slope first. All right, so here's the second set of points. We have a line that goes through the points 9, -2 and -3, 2. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to find the slope of this line. Okay, if I did it correctly, I got that my change in y was 4 and my change in x was -12. So 4 over -12 is -1/3. They want me to use the first point, so I'm going to label it x sub 1, y sub 1. My point slope form is y minus y sub 1 equals the slope times x minus x sub 1. I want you to plug that in and tell me what the equation of this line is in point slope form. Okay, I got y plus 2 equals -1/3 times x minus 9. Since I'm subtracting this -2, it became plus. Since I'm subtracting 9, it looks like x minus 9. All right, one more set of points. This time the points are 3, -8 and 7, -2. The first thing I want you to do is find the slope of the line that goes through these points. I got the slope was 3/2. Check your work and make sure you got that correct. And see if you need to make any corrections. And again, using the first point, write the equation of this line in point slope form. I got y plus 8 equals 3 halves times x minus 3. Okay, so that is how to write equations in point-slope form if you're given a graph or if you're given 2 points. And now you're all ready to practice.